Good evening, everybody. My name is Brian Gunnarsson, CEO, President of Wealth Strategies Leadership Group. Welcome to the training this evening. Tonight we have a special guest, and his name is Daryl Cox. I'll be introducing him in a minute. He's the National Sales Director for our company, and he's put together a presentation for you with bits and pieces of some knowledge from some other people in our industry that have been a part of our company and with us for years. And we've kind of made a few changes to some of the presentation moving forward. I think in the back office, you've all kind of seen in the past, we had College Smart Solutions video up there, and it was kind of throwing people off. College Smart Solutions was an entity created by Bill. He's on this evening, and he and his partners have put together a piece that he's used for years in the schools. And we've kind of taken another step on a similar path, but in a little bit also different direction, where we really want to be he's a certified college planning specialist. We're a certified college funding specialist company. And the main difference is people who do planning, like Roberto from San Diego will tell you, you go in there and you find people getting ready to go to college, and you help them mainly do the planning for it. That's what's in people's minds when they're kind of set for this. They think that it's for them, we're getting ready to go to college in the next 2 years. Really, college funding is like take a couple steps back and, hey, what's the very first step that we're going to take on this path? And that's setting up the savings account, the proper savings account first. And we find that if you go through and try to do all things at once, you put a lot on their plate, you give them a lot to think about, and they don't make any decisions. They go, wow, you've given me a lot to think about. Let me get back to you. So what our main plan is, and this came up with the training, I was talking with somebody today, that our goal is to get them started on the right path first. And that's put them in an IUL, that's put them in the proper product that's going to help them, that's not going to hurt them when they're applying for financial aid. So those are really the differences, and we made a philosophical switch a little bit earlier, and so that's why we became College Smart Strategies in our profile. And so that will be taken down off the website. The video you guys have been watching, I had a lot of feedback from that, and that is essentially where a lot of this has come from. Bill blazed the trail for us, and he was in this long before I was, and he's taught me a lot of things from me watching his trainings. And so we've made some changes to that, but I want to acknowledge his work in the past that's got us to this point today. And so we go by College Smart Strategies. And so the slides you see that you're able to download say College Smart Strategies, but in the past we've only had that video. And so we hope after tonight we'll be able to upload this video, and you will have less confusion, and the people that you recruit will have less confusion, and they'll never be the wiser. So having said all that, a little bit of housekeeping first. I know a couple of you suffered from this. I know Coach Dave Owens in Marysville, and I think Mark also over in Austin, Texas. When you go to take your exam, you download your study guide like I've been telling everybody. You read through your pages, you get all ready for it, and then you take your test. And then lo and behold, 57 minutes into your test, you hit your last question, and you think you're done, and all of a sudden your screen goes blank. And I've talked about this a little bit in the past, and I apologize for that, Mark. And I apologize, Coach Dave Owens. And in the past, it had to do with the hosting company. And anyway, we found a workaround. And I told you this was coming, and it's in place now. So wherever you are at in your question, like if you're on question 32, or wherever you're at along with your test, it'll remember your last questions that were answered. So when you log back in again if it times out on you, you'll be able to have the answers that you put in already remembered there. So when you pop back in, it'll start you back at question 36 or wherever you left off at. So that's not a full solution, but it is a workaround, and I think everybody can live with that. The idea of the test isn't for some of you it might be to get the certificate, but it's really to see that you're taking the steps to be more and more educated and learn more about our industry in college planning. So the whole part of reading and taking the test is all helping you study. It's helping you know more. Are you going to be a master at this after taking the test? No. But are you going to know enough to talk intelligently about this stuff? And when we're talking in these training sessions, it's going to go like the aha moment. Ah, yeah, I remember hearing about that, or I took a test on that, or I read about that. And you hear it 7 times throughout trainings and test takings and live and field trainings, and then it sticks in your head after a little while. So that's the whole idea, and it shows an effort on your part that you're committed as well. So before we do field training, we want you to get appointed with our carrier and pass that test, because that shows us you put in some hours worth of commitment on your part in order to to make yourself more of a an expert or a proficient at this industry and at college funding. So that's the housekeeping side of things. This actual presentation, I believe Dewey will have it up before Friday. So instead of me having to send them to you on a one-on-one basis, which I can, they will be in the back office and you will be able to watch them, and there will be progression. So when your people join after you, you'll be able to tell them, yes, everything is there on the websites. We do trainings every Tuesday, and we'll be somewhere along the approach of the steps will be a live one, but they're also back, the post-dated ones will be there, and you can sit there to your heart's content and watch them over and over and over again. All right, so having said all that, Daryl tonight is going to, we have a little, the version of the slides that he put together have been tested out, and he's going to elaborate on the slides tonight. We added a couple, we took a couple out, and we changed the verbiage on a few of them, and he'll tell you, they'll probably tell you the similarities, and they'll tell you the reasons why we did this with certain slides. And moreover, it's the same base. We want to get the people, the parents, educated. We want to teach them something. So it's really a 3 simple steps approach for college affordability. Everything's pretty much the same there, because that's what we want to do, is we want to educate and help these families. But also, it's just done with a little different approach. So Daryl Cox, as if you don't know him, I've known him for 21 years, so we go way back. He's done everything in this financial world industry that you could possibly do: stockbroker, commodity broker, real estate broker, mortgages, insurance, gold, precious metals, leveraged equities, everything you can think of doing, he's done. We always talk about, boy, I wish we found this industry 21 years ago. We didn't, but we found it when we did, and he's the one that introduced me to it. So Daryl Cox is one of the smartest men that I know. Very, very good friend and trusted partner in businesses along the way over the years, and we're working together to help you and help families become better at college funding. So I'm going to let Daryl talk this evening about the slideshow. This is the workshop presentation that we do at the school. And Daryl, if you're there, say hello to everyone and take it away.
Hi everyone, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
See the screen?
Yeah, College Smart Strategies is the screen I see.
Fantastic. Well, good evening, everyone. Thanks for taking the time to spend with me here and do a little bit of training. I'm going to jump right into it, and thank you for everything, Brian. So this is our presentation that we actually give to the parents in the school. We've talked about already opening schools. Once the school is open, this is the presentation that you're going to be giving to parents. Okay, so I'll start now. College Smart Strategies, a simple 3-step approach to college affordability. Now, what's going to be here is my background. You'll have your picture, your information, your bio, so forth. Spend a little time on this. Introduce yourself. Talk about yourself. Now, you don't want to drone on for 10 minutes about yourself, but you want to make people comfortable with who you are. Give your experience, why they should trust you, why you're an expert at what you do. So your bio, spend a little time talking about this. Next, College Smart mission. Provide the best strategic and financial planning so families can achieve the lowest possible cost and best possible colleges. All right? We do that through providing knowledge-based solutions, reducing student and parents' loans, positively impacting retirements, which in result is much more for college. So we're giving them all the information that we're going to do to help them up front with this. Traditional college planning vehicles. Stocks and bonds. That involves market risk. So sometimes the market's up, sometimes the market down. You're at the mercy of the market vagaries. 401ks, IRAs, etc. They have hidden and excessive cost. When you hire people to manage your money for you, you're paying them 3 to 4% every year. And you're paying that 3-4% a year, whether they make money for you or lose money for you. That's a big chunk that comes out. Okay, equity in your home. Fees, one thing. But the other thing is, think back to 2008, 2009. If we have another market crash, what's your home worth at that point? How much equity do you really have to do this? Okay. Now, banks and savings and CDs. Two things here: taxes, maintenance. But on top of that, what are you getting? 1% to 2% at the most? You're not getting anywhere. Okay. College savings plans, low returns, reduced financial aid. And what I mean by that is that most of these and we're talking about 529 plans here, basically, very limited what you can put your money into, and also very limited on what your returns are. Plus, it hurts you with your financial aid. So cost of living continues to rise. What we mean by that is that since 2000 to 2018, pound of coffee is up 53%. Movie tickets up 95%. Postage stamps up 48%. So the middle class is being squeezed. Everything that you pay for is rising. It's called Consumer Price Index, or CPI, and that's up 39%. The median household income is only up 28%. So that means, on average, you're losing 11% of your buying power. So over the next 18 years, you probably lose another 11%, if not more, because even though this is horrible, this is still low inflation. Once again, college has become very expensive. If you look at this and compare the CPI, which is inflation, up 125%. If you look at the cost of college, it's up 248%. So it's double the inflation amount that it's been up here. Okay, college is through the roof, and it's only getting more expensive, and there's no signs of it slowing down. So it has outpaced inflation. Once again, college is expensive. The annual cost of a public university is approximately $24,000. Cost of a private university is about $48,000. But that's not the real cost, because when you pay for college, you pay for it in after-tax dollars. This is important. Let's look at Arizona State. It's about $25,000, $26,000 to go to Arizona State. And 4 years, and put yourself in a 28% tax bracket, where most people are still, even after the tax cuts, at about 28%. Okay, that means you have to earn $153,444 to pay for 4 years of school. And look at NYU, over $70,000 a year to go to this private college. So with that, for 4 years, you have to earn $420,561 pre-tax. So that's for one kid going to school. So it's very important that you save properly, put your money in the right places so it grows, and you put your FAFSA form on the right track. Now, how do you plan for college? Do you deplete your savings, work 2 jobs, borrow from your home equity, go to the old burden the grandparents, spend down your retirement? So, or you can try for financial aid. Or worse, go to a worse school. That's the number one choice. Now, we have better ways. You just need better information. And that's what we're here to provide you with tonight. So we have a 3-step approach when it comes to college affordability. Educate families on the best strategies to save for the college and get the most free money that there is out there to help you pay for college. Suggest ways families can improve cash flow and reduce their EFC. Now, we're going to talk about EFC a lot tonight. EFC stands for Expected Family Contribution. I want to give it the respect it deserves. It's not EFC, it's your money. Expected Family Contribution. This is the amount that you have to write a check for that your family is expected to contribute to paying. So match high gifting colleges with Student Career Pass. So you have different colleges that give different amounts of money. So match your student to the right college. Now, standard college saving options, QTPs, what we call 529 plans. They're prepaid plans. They're college savings plans. Now you have Coverdell Educational Savings and Accounts, formerly Educational IRAs. Then you have custodial accounts, UGMAs, UTMAs. You have Minority Trust or Crummy Trust. These are some of the things you can save with. But the most popular out there is the 529. And that's the one that's really doing the most damage out there, because I'll tell you how this works. 529 plan works this way. Number one, a tax advantage investment vehicle that's designed to encourage savings for future and higher education expenses. State tax deductible for contributions in 34 states. And by the way, California is not one of those states where it's tax deductible. After-tax contributions grow as tax deferred. Distributions can be tax-free if you use it for education, okay, or qualified expenses like tuition, fees, room board, transportations, book supplies, things like that. Now, the drawbacks of using a 529 savings plan. Number one, you have to pay taxes and a 10% penalty if any of those unused funds are used for anything else besides what's fitted into the guidelines, okay? Subject to market risk, market vagaries. The market goes up, you can lose money. If the market goes up, you make money. If the market falls, you lose money. And even in those investment vehicles, there's still not a whole lot of options to bring you back bigger returns. And on top of that, you're paying fees of 3 to 4%. So your growth is going to be stagnant. The other thing here is that the entire balance is assessed at 5.64%, reducing your financial aid each year. Let me repeat that. This entire amount that's in that 529 is assessed at 5.64%, reducing your financial aid each and every year. So it's at about 22.5% over 4 years. So by using this plan, you're taking away 22.5% of what you're eligible to get paid for college. You're throwing money out the window. So now, this is our advanced college savings plan. We can go through and you can read this out. I read through most of it when I'm doing the presentation, not every particular one, but they both grow. 529 grows after-tax contribution. Option B is an after-tax contribution also. Tax-free and penalty-free distribution for education, 529 and option B. So you list out all the options and what's going on and what it does. Then you get down to the important part. Is it free of market risk? 529, no. Option B, yes. Never any losses, never any risk. Okay, then you get into read some of the other things. What you really want to point out, now you should go through and read these things, but what you really want to hammer home is simply this. Never any losses, okay? You can use it for other things besides just school if there's money left over, which is important. It's transferable to other kids and other people, not just for school, okay? Also, if a person gets sick and they can't contribute and they can't work, how are they going to pay into the 529 to pay for school? Option B takes care of that and funds college, okay? If you get terminally ill, if you die and pass away, anything happens to you, if you're chronically ill, you can actually fund with option B where the 529 doesn't have that. And any monies that aren't used for college can be turned into a pension for you. Next we have here, and with this screen, you may notice it's a little different. This is how your money is invested. The money is invested is the most important thing because the two rules out there are simply this. First rule of money, never lose money. Second rule of money, always see rule number one, never lose money. So what we're showing you here is the S&P 500 back from 1998 to 2017. So the first line here in black is showing a return of 2%. So 2%, your 100,000 after all this time goes to 150,000. Not enough time, not enough interest. The red line is the actual S&P 500. When I say the actual S&P 500, this is what the market has actually done. Ups and downs and the vagaries of the market. So if you're in them, and so you're doing great, it does increase, but what if you were going to college in some of those down years? What if that was your savings 529 plan and you're planning on using that money and the market's down in those years? Okay. What we do is called indexing, where you never lose money if the market falls, but if the market goes up, you participate up to a cap. And in this example, the cap is 12.5%. So that means if the market goes up 10, you make 10. 12.5, you make 12.5. 15, you make 12.5. But if the market falls, you never lose money and you never lose any of your principal or any of the interest gains for that year. So you can see it's a much better way to save. And by taking away the losses, your gains outpace the S&P by a mile. Just to say that there was another shot in here that was a yellow line and some of the other things you guys may have seen, and it was showing a 7% return. I took that out. The reason I took it out is because I don't want to give the impression to anyone in the audience, if they're not savvy, that there's anything out there that gives you a 7% return without ever taking a loss, because there is not. So that's why I took that out and just have the actual market where the actual is done, real life market, real life returns. Now I've taken this out because I'll skip over that because the last one is kind of redundant. So here, how is financial aid calculated? There's COA, cost of attendance. Cost of attendance is simply this. What does it cost for your child to attend college? Now, so your cost of attendance minus your EFC. EFC, expected family contributions, which you have to write a check for. Now what's left over is the need. The need is what financial aid is based on. Grants, free from the government. Scholarships, free money from schools. Work study programs, where the child works in school to help pay his way through college. And then you have loans. You have student loans and you have parents' loans. Now, why is the EFC, or expected family contribution, so important? This represents what you will pay out of pocket before getting any financial aid whatsoever. If your EFC is greater than the cost of the college you attend, you won't qualify for any financial aid. So the lower your EFC, or expected financial contribution, the more financial aid you may qualify for. Here's an example. So what factors affect my EFC? The age of parents, size of your family, the number of children you have in college, your income, whether it's 1099 or employee W-2, and the assets that you have. And also, a lot of people don't realize this, it's the assets that your child has, also their income and assets. So let's look at the chart here. You're talking about on income for parents, 20% is what you're going to get dinged in the percentage. Home equity, 6% is what you're going to be dinged. And your savings and checking, another 6%. 529 plan, it's approximately 6%. So 401k contributions, that's 15%. All right. And then student savings, whatever the student has as money saved, that's another 20%. So if you go through these numbers after everything's said and done, so your total expected family contribution, $37,900 is your EFC. Now, the effect of the EFC on optimization. So your baseline is cost of attendance. That's $35,000 for school. So baseline and optimized. Both cost of school, $35,000. EFC is $37,900. So what do you need? You need nothing, because that's what they expect you to pay. So you get zero financial aid, zero help. So that's what you're paying, $37,900. Now, if we optimized your assets and optimized your 529 to something that grew but didn't show on the 529 form, it changes your EFC. So now your EFC, instead of $37,900, is now $20,000. So what do you need in financial aid? You need $15,000 in financial aid. So let's say after everything is said and done, your needs that you're going to get from scholarships and grants and so forth is $10,500 per year. So now, what have you saved? Save zero if your EFC isn't in order. If you optimize it, you've saved $40,200 over 4 years. That's real money. That's real money by not changing any assets, but just putting them in the right place so it doesn't show improperly on your EFC form. Okay? Very, very important on strategically how this is put together. Saving for college, saving for it properly in the proper place. Skipped over that, it's redundant, and this is too confusing, so I don't put that there. So, the effect of actual versus advertised cost of college. What we do here is help you sort through what your true cost of college would be for your child, and based on where they want to go and what they want to do. So here we have private college and we have a public college. Cost of the private college, $63,000. Cost of the public college, $21,000. And your EFC now is $5,000. Your effective your expected financial contribution is $5,000. So private college, what do you need? 58 grand. With public college, you need 16,000. Now, your private college meets 100% of the need, 58,000. Public college meets 70% of the need. All right? Now stick with me here. Your unmet need with private college is 0. Your unmet need in public is 4,800. All right? Now, the school is gifting you 88% of what you need. So that means they're going to give you $51,000. Loans, work study, and so forth is going to be $6,800. So what you're actually going to be paying out of pocket as parents and students is $11,812 for private college. Now, go to the public side. School is gifting you only 30%, which is $3,364. So between loans, work study, and everything else, you need another $7,800 plus your EFC plus the unmet need. So now you're talking about out of pocket $17,655. Okay? Same financials, same thing. One's a private college, one's a public college, but this private college is offering you a lot more money and scholarships and grants. So it's not always simply, hey, private college is more expensive than a public college. We have to look at what your actual cost out of pocket will be depending on the school you go to. And that's one of the things that we help you with also down the road. All right, so the recap, 3 steps approach to college affordability. Educating families the best strategies to save for college and get the most for free money. Suggest ways families improve their cash flow and reduce their EFC, which is expected family contribution. Match high gifting colleges with students' career paths. What our process is. What we do, we work together to identify and gather information pertinent to your case. We sit down with you and go over everything with you of what you're trying to accomplish, where you are, and where you need to go. We provide you with customized plans, strategies, and opportunities. All right? We help you implement your preferred strategy and review the financial impact on the college cost. So you want your kid to go to Stanford, we're going to show you the best way for your kid to go to Stanford. If you want your kid to go to community college, then we're going to help your kid go to community college the best way that there is. So college smart strategies, 3-step approach to college affordability. And after this, we say thank you very much. We'll be here. Please fill out the survey. If you'd like to make an appointment, we'll sit down with you. There's never any cost to the school, and there's never any cost to you. We don't charge you anything for our services.
Awesome. Daryl, thank you very much. I appreciate you going over the slides. This has been presented, obviously, as we're talking to you. We're kind of talking to you as agents about the slides. You can put your flavor and your color and all of these things. You can put your life stories in these things. I know, Walt, you've already said you can do this. I know you can. You're an awesome presenter, and I'm looking forward to hearing you out there presenting in the world. Everyone's going to have their stories. Coach Dave's going to talk about his sports stories. I've got people all over the country that are going to talk about, you know, their life stories as a part of this. As long as the facts are right, and as long as we're talking numbers that are you know, accurate, and you put your heart into this, people are gonna believe you because they're buying you. You're up on stage. You're the doctor in the white lab coat with the stethoscope around your neck. Doctor, what do I do? You come across as that professional. You are the foregone expert in this. And when they sit down with you, they're going to bring you everything. And it's your job not to take it all in on day one. Obviously, remember, they have $500,000 in a money market. They got $1 million over here in IBM stock. Remember that stuff, because it's going to be later on. We're going to have to account for that. But you know what we want to do, and what our goal is to get them started with the right foot forward. Because remember, we're going into elementary schools, and we're talking to people who have kids who are 6 to 10 years old, hopefully. And but just recently, we opened a couple of. Mark came down here, and we were talking to a couple of Montessori schools where they're 20 months old to kindergarten, and the owner's like, really? We're talking college planning this year? Like, absolutely we are, because it's about getting that right foot forward and starting the savings plan now. I've got friends of mine, personal friends of mine, open 529 plans for their kids when they're like, oh, I did an IUL and a 529 plan. I thought I'd cover both bases. I'm like, why don't you come to me? You're one of my best friends. Why are you not asking me for advice? And yeah, you did. You opened an IUL with me, but then you went and opened a 529. That just doesn't make a lot of sense. Anyway, so when you're talking to people, and you're sitting down for the very first time after they raised their hand or wrote on the pad that said they wanted a 1 hour presentation with you one-on-one to talk about their specific needs. Keep in mind, the idea after you leave that scenario isn't to understand everything about them and go back and spend 2 weeks or whatever it is and then come back to them and present this giant thing to them. That's not what we do. Your idea after sitting down with them is to listen to what they have to say, take notes, and tell them, here's what we do first. Trust me, I know what I'm doing. I got to get your money in the right thing first as soon as possible. Start saving now. Don't procrastinate. Don't wait. And put it in the right vehicle. The only vehicle that we can put your money into is that's not going to count against you later on for financial aid is this vehicle. And a lot of the times they have 529 plans. And so it's not like you're convincing them to save for college. They know they need to save for college. It's instead of putting your money into this, we're putting our money into this. And that's what we want to walk out of getting started as a customer, getting their right foot forward is by getting them into the right savings plan. And that's an IUL policy. And you guys should be talking IULs every single opportunity you can. If you're passionate about this stuff and you really believe in these things, you know, you told everybody you know about this. You've already hit all your warm market. You've already talked to everyone you love and care about. And if you haven't, well, maybe you're not that passionate about it and you don't believe in it. If you don't own an IUL yourself, why not? Well, why don't you? That's something you need to take a look at. And if you don't, you need to start one today. You need to get one going for yourself. And maybe you don't have enough. I've never heard anybody say they have enough insurance. You know, when the time came when the insurance was actually needed, nobody ever said, "Wow, that was enough," or "I couldn't have used more." So keep that in mind when we're preaching out there about what we love and what we talk about the most. How is that in our lives? Do we have that ourselves? Does everybody we know have it? My parents don't. They are 69 years old. It didn't work out that way. He's got annuities, but that's another story. We'll share that with you another time. So that's today's presentation. I hope you gained something from it. Next time we'll do it from a perspective as being a presenter, where you're actually on stage, where you're up there talking through the slides. Instead of talking to you as the agent, we're talking to you as an audience. And we'll take a look at, let me see here. Let me change.
Yeah. We'll have that recording up in the next day or so, where it's me doing the recording of, as I wanted to train you guys on this. The actual recording that will be placed is how I do the actual presentation, which is pretty close to what I just gave you, just a couple of different caveats. But I wanted to give you the training on what you're doing and what you're saying. But you'll have the recording of the actual presentation up in the next couple of days.
Absolutely. The more angles you can approach from this, the better. And again, we want you to put your own spin on this. You guys are going to use your own life stories. You're going to take the facts that are presented, and you're going to use your own life stories, and you're going to use your own mirroring and matching and tonal with your expression and the way you guys present. Because, you know,
just let me put one more thing on the end before we go here. It's very important, once you give the presentation, on how do you conduct yourself in the end to get leads. Do not give out all the information when you're there. Someone asks you a question, that's a great question. We need to delve deeper into what you're doing, and we do that one-on-one. Make an appointment, I can answer all those questions. You're not there in that hall or wherever you're giving this presentation to say, hey, I'm the smartest guy in town. Let me tell you what an IUL is. Not the time, not the place. Don't give them any more information than you gave them in the slides. Maybe a couple of basic things if they have someone's asking questions about making an appointment. All that is saved till the appointment time, okay? Don't go into a lot of information above and beyond what you've already given. Leave them wanting more information, and that's how they're going to make the appointment. Very important.
Yeah, that is a very important point. You're going to get a lot of questions at the end of this because you're going to take questions, and the answer is always going to be pretty much that's an excellent question. That may be more relevant that you and I talk one-on-one. why don't I sit down with you and your family on a one-on-one basis for an hour or so, and we'll go over all those. So yeah, definitely. And one other thing you want to say, or not say, I should say, is you don't want to mention the words insurance. You don't want to say that, because that's going to turn people off immediately. For whatever reason, they saw what was that show with Bill Murray, Groundhog Day? Ned Niedermeyer, the insurance guy. Insurance people are horrible people. They're trying to force insurance down my throat. But you know what? They just don't know. For whatever reason, we got lambasted with this label that we're these horrible people, and they don't even know that we have access to the best products that are out there, period. So you want to talk about the things that Daryl mentioned, no risk in the market. You can participate in market gains without participating in losses. You want to, you talk about those things. And they're like, wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. That option B thing is awesome. What is option B? Well, option B can be many things. Let's talk about it, how it's personalized for you. It depends on, your finances and your income and your assets. So let's meet one-on-one. I'm not going to charge it. And they'll meet with you, I believe you. You're going to get 50% of the people who sat in that auditorium that are going to want to sit down and sit with you. And they're going to bring everything to you. And they're going to be honest. They're going to tell you where the money is. All right, that's enough of a training for this evening. I appreciate everyone for being here. We will have this available. This recording is available, so I can email it to you on a one-on-one basis for now, but I'm going to have Dewey put it in the back office, and it'll be available on this website shortly, as will a lot of these trainings that we've done. If you guys have been here for 3 or 4 weeks or longer, we have a lot of these things saved up, and we can put them all on there for content that you guys can watch later on. I want to thank everyone for being here. I want to thank Daryl very much for being here and talking this evening and teaching us. And give me a call. Tell me your stories. Tell me about life. We've got a lot of things going on. We've got a lot of field training going on. We have a lot of schools being opened. I think we have right now about 16 or 17 schools booked for April, and that's been done in the last 4 or 5 days. So we're gonna start. That's gonna start compounding. We're gonna get to a point where it's 40, 60, 100. So this is good progression, and everyone keep telling me your stories. Thanks again. Have a wonderful evening. I'm signing off.